Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the year of the studio. This is the studio. The year is 2022. And yeah, I'm here with you. Here's let me get some lights going. Get some visibility. This is probably the messiest the studio has ever been for one of these live streams. Since the wedding, more and more gifts have kept coming in, and more and more of our time has been spent on other things because it's spring, and so I have a lot of things I have lots of living things to take care of. We also have plenty of events that are going on, and so this room has gotten somewhat neglected for the past week, along with some plants that have found their way in here. But anyway, so let me get this light, is what I'm trying to say. Let me get this light, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, hey, Carolee, I'm glad you're here. I'm dropping things and stuff. Luckily, it was Pyrex, which is glass that doesn't break when you drop it. But this is the nature of our current lifestyle here in the Barnett studio. Is that what it's called? It's not very creative, but anyway. This is a lid. I don't want to step on this lid. I will break it. Let me move this out of the way. Look at this gift that was given to us. I think it was made for us as well. Look at this. This is awesome. The Barnett family established 2022. We have so many things to hang up on our walls. That's like one of the looming projects that's everywhere we go. We have a whole bunch of different things that have been given to us. Delightful things like that one. That's from my mom, Lisa, and my dad. And I didn't get a chance to clean up the floor since last week. So the floor is still covered in wood chips, which is not usually how I do this. This may surprise you, but I usually clean up or I have been at least, usually cleaning up after myself. But we have not made enough space to do something, I think. Let me, in the early days of this, when this room was full, I used to give you a tour. Let me do that again. Here. Here's the table that you're sitting on. This is what used to be my entire office. That's what I rested on. Then we've got these plants here. We've got obviously the vise and the lights. Here's the window with the tree, which I need to move out. I should have moved it out a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't gotten a chance. It's probably like it in and of itself. It's probably only like a 5-minute project, but because of all the things between this and the door, it's probably more like a 30 or 40-minute project, 20-minute project maybe. So, and then we have all of the gifts all the way through the door around here. Then we have a huge pile of a mixture of gifts and our own stuff that has been moved in. We have the new filing cabinet, which is just in the middle of the room. We have some of our luggage from Hawaii. Over here on the floor is where some of my tools are starting to get plugged in. This thing needs to become on the wall. We got all sorts of camping gear down here under the table, and the Pyrex box from the Pyrex I just dropped on the ground a minute ago. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy in here and stuff. However, in spite of that, here we are. Welcome. Glad you're here. Won't be quite as long of an episode. We have a premiere of a friend's movie to go to. So that's what we're going to do as soon as this is done. I've got to shower and look pretty. So that's the plan. And today, our goal is to get this guy ready to fit into this guy. That's the plan. So, yeah. Let's see here. Life updates. We've got a trip coming up next weekend.
It'll be Pathfinder Camporee, and then from Pathfinder Camporee, we're leaving for Grandma's Memorial, and also a separate event, same weekend, a bonus reception for part of my family that didn't get to be at my actual wedding reception. So that'll be fun. And yeah, what else do we have? We have so much going on. Yeah, hopefully I think of more stuff. I haven't even had time to make the thumbnail for last week's video. So that kind of gives you an idea of how busy it is around here. How much is going on in these parts. So at the Barnett household. There we go. Can you see what I'm working with? So basically, we are pretty close to the right shape with this. We've gotten it down to the circle as I traced it through the hole, but it's still not actually small enough to slide into the hole because there's a lot of friction between wood and wood. Obviously, it makes sense that there would be a lot of friction. So it's going to take a bit more material, not a whole lot, pretty minimal amount, but it's going to take some more material being removed before we'll be able to start wedging this into this. So, but that is the rudimentary idea of the hammer right there. There it is. It's finally starting to look like it might happen. One of these days. One of these days. So, now, if I'm looking at it like this, I'm trying to figure out which part of it needs the most material taken off right now. I think it's this side. So this is the side we're going to remove a bunch of material from. And I shouldn't say a bunch, just a little. But, man, I'm excited. We're going to get to go camping for the first time in a while. It'll be on Camporee, like with a bunch of kids and stuff, but it'll still be really good. I'm excited for that. Maybe I'll move you a little bit closer. So you can potentially see. You're going to hear things falling off the table the whole time today. Probably. The most satisfying part about using a vise, now that I have a vise for this, is I can take off such small shavings compared to the amount of control I had before. So I just have so much more control over the size of the shavings that I'm removing. So it really has made this whole process more effective, which is, it's part of the game. These ones I'm taking off now are just paper thin. So these shades. That one wasn't quite as thin, but my goal is to get it so that it slides on, so that there's a bit of overhang, a bit of extra. So let's see here what that would actually look like. I should try and visualize that for myself, like what distance that needs to be. So I need to back this up a bit, to be honest. So probably need to back it up almost a whole inch. So I need to take off a bit more of the shoulder, is what I need to do. How's your week been, Carolee? Oh my, I'm not plugged in. This computer's about to die if I don't plug it in. There we go. Been doing decent enough. Kids have been on spring break. Oh, did you get to do anything special for spring break? Oh man. Yeah, no. Yeah, we've had spring break around here too. Obviously we don't have kids of our own, but the youth group and stuff. So I think they just had their first week back from spring break, I think, this week. So back in school. Just got extra time together. Honestly, sometimes that's better than doing something special. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. Sometimes that can be overwhelming. That doesn't actually make much sense to do. Yeah, when we were kids, I think the most common way we usually spent spring break was traveling. We would do a lot of trips. I think everybody has like different. Every family's dynamic is different. Priorities are different. But we used to do a lot of camping, traveling. Whenever we'd have a school break of any kind. And we probably got some of that travel fever from the Barnett side, from Grandpa Barnett and Grandma Barnett, because they always loved to travel, and they traveled just about every chance they got, pretty much. So I think we had a bit of that influence in our atomic home, or whatever they call it, your immediate family. I don't know why that feels like an outdated turn of phrase. I feel like sometimes people see knives this big and they don't think they're very sharp. They each had alternating weeks off, so one was always in school. Ah, they're in different schools. Yeah, that makes sense. That'd make it harder to go on like a road trip or a camping trip or something. Because what are you gonna do again? Pay for a whole trip for each of them? That'd be much more expensive. Although one of my favorite types of trips that I remember from when I was a kid was my dad used to take me to the museums in Washington, D.C. every year. For a couple years anyway. I don't remember how many years it was that he did that. But it was just the two of us. And I think Mom might have done some similar type of trips with Josh. I don't remember. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Part of it was that, like, as an artist, they really wanted to support that however they could, and so they wanted to take me to art museums. And Washington, D.C. had a lot of really cool. And I was big into politics and history back then, so I just thought Washington, D.C. was the coolest place. It was beautiful. Ooh, we're close now. Oh, you see that? We're on. Ha 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 ha! It is able to hold itself on its own power. And that's almost the orientation we're gonna want too. Okay. There we go. That's a start. Take it off. Do a bit more removal. Because we need to be able to slide it all the way up to here. So, got a lot more left to do. But that's exciting. That's looking a lot better. Yeah, I hope we get to spend plenty of time with our kids on breaks. I'd hate to be working a type of lifestyle where I don't get to spend more time with them during breaks because of work or whatever. There's plenty of people that don't get to enjoy their own kids' spring break. It's too bad. Hopefully they even still have spring break by then. I hear people talk about not having summer vacation or summer or what's your name, which really just doesn't make much sense to me. But I feel like there's a lot of learning that happens in that I think of as like supervised learning, which is like, school where you have like teachers intentionally teaching you certain things. And you have all of that. But summertime, when you have all that time off as a kid, is really self-teaching time. That's when like the world around you gets to teach you things instead of and like the situations you get yourself into or the social dynamics you get yourself into. There, those are the teaching things in the summertime, and so I feel like you just learn so much of the most important stuff, specifically because you're not in school, specifically because there is no like rigid standard of learning, and it's all just like you learn a new skill a lot of times as a kid. You'll learn a new sport over the summer, or you'll make new friendships over the summer, or there's just so many things that kids don't have time to learn while they're in school. That only once they're on break for a long chunk like spring break or especially summer break do they really get a chance to interface with a lot of those dynamics that are much more fluid dynamics than the things school can teach you. So, because in school you're also only really interfacing with your own age group for the most part, whereas in the summertime you're getting to interface with kids that might go to the same school, but they're like 3 grades ahead of you or something like that. There's a lot more free-form learning going on and a lot more free-form social learning going on, especially. And so I think social learning is some of the most important learning that we get from school. But I think in the summertime, you still have social learning going on. It's just more free-form. You're like, it's more up to you. It's not decided for you, in a lot of ways. Not in every way, but obviously geography still plays a huge role. Like, a lot of times, but I feel like there's just a lot of different types of learning that you don't really get to do in school very much, but you do during your breaks and your summertime. Because it's like that's the time of the year when kids get to go on adventures and like create their own adventures, and, have adventures, and I think a lot of the valuable things we learn from life happens while we're out adventuring, while we're out facing our own problems that we've often made for ourselves. Especially like in a free-form setting, you still have gobs of problem solving that has to happen. The difference is a lot of it is problem solving that inherently requires your own responsibility because you created the problem. So, sometimes I wonder if the fact that the U.S. has maintained its summer break is part of why we've been so successful as an innovative country, like in terms of in a lot of the different aspects of industry. I wonder if it's given us an edge. People just don't realize it because there's no way to quantify that kind of learning. I often think of life as like a book that we're writing, but you don't write it with words. Obviously, you write it by your actions. And summertime is a place and time when kids get to really interact with that aspect of life and often learn those shaping qualities of their actions. They learn a lot of the nuances of how their actions affect and change the world around them. Because in school, a lot of your actions don't really change the world around you very much. I mean, you still have the same schedule the next day. You still go to the same classes, talk to the same kids. Maybe. But in the summertime, it's like tiny decisions can have a significantly larger effect because of just the free-form nature of your schedule and your neighborhood, and who's on vacation, and this and that. There's so much more opportunity for adventure and for learning. Yeah, not much more. Not really anymore. I feel like some of the most important lessons of my childhood I learned over the summers. Because over the summers was really the only time, when I got to build friendships with people that weren't my age, that weren't from my own religion and worldview and paradigms. It was the only time of the year when I really got to a lot of opportunities to make friends with people that just weren't the same as me, summers were a time when I got to hang out with make friends with the elderly lady next door. And, for a little kid to be doing that that's pretty special, I think, and important. And in her particular case, she was a lovely black woman, Grandma Pepper. Taught me a lot. Don't know much about. Didn't stay in touch after we moved away, but I didn't stay in touch with people after we moved away. Just about anybody. So I don't necessarily say much. Other than stuff like this, I don't usually stay in touch with people that are not in my presence. which I don't necessarily think is probably a good feature of mine, but it does keep me in the present a lot. It makes me much more engaged in the present and a lot less engaged in the past or the future, for that matter. Which I think is usually a good way to live. All right, I'm gonna quick mark this line. Because what we're gonna do is, so I have an idea for how to litigate some of the problem from this, and that is that when we have to split this, which obviously we will have to do, we're gonna split it along that line so that when we stick it in there, I'm gonna put a clamp on this, try and hold it shut. When we stick it in there, then hopefully this will open up a little bit like it is, and that'll put even more squeeze and tension in the joint there. So it'll add to the strength instead of taking away from the strength. Hopefully, that's the plan anyway. That's the idea. That's what I came up with. So when we do that cut, it'll be along that line right there. So that's the plan. Plan, Stan. So I'm gonna do a little bit more on not that side. This side. We're making progress. Tiny progress. Progress. Tiny progress is progress too. No? It's starting to look a lot more straight. Well, which is a good thing. It's getting to where it's hard to tell by looking at it where I need to take off. which is a good sign. Oh my, the computer has fallen. It's looking good, she says. Good, I'm glad you can tell on camera. It's looking good. Taking off just paper thin shavings. Paper thin, razor sharp. It's not true, it's not actually razor sharp. Although it might be someday. Keep sharpening it. But it is pretty sharp. All right. I think we're coming up on the end for today. Let's do an update of how far on there it'll slide. It's so satisfying. So satisfying. Okay. It is smooth. It's actually very smooth. It'd be very difficult to give yourself a sliver on this part of it. This part here. Not very smooth anywhere else, but that's okay. That's what we're going for. So, there we go. Let's get a nice... There we go. I'm trying to figure out a way to do a thumbnail here. I figured it out. Watch me. It's coming together, people. It's coming together. Let's do it this way. I don't know what face should I make. I don't even know what face I should make. Anyway, so there we go. It's beginning to look like a mallet. Look, it kind of looks like a club, doesn't it? It looks like something you'd see a caveman walking around with, I feel like. But fair enough. I live inside this beautiful little white cave. It's well painted for a cave. So, yeah. Got a lot still going on. Big smile. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Got a lot going on. Yeah. I need to get to writing more. And also getting that book done. But one step at a time. Summer is on its way. I'm excited. There are plans for what might be a super special trip this summer in June. It's not actually. Here's a hint. It's back to where Erica was born, which is a very cool place. So I'm excited about that. More about that in the future if it actually happens. We'll see. But yeah. It's also Erica's last state because she doesn't count it since she doesn't really have any memories there. All right, well, I have to go. We have so much going on. Next week, I'm pretty sure. Erica, which days am I available next week? Not Thursday or Friday, she says, and not Wednesday, and not Monday. So I guess Tuesday. Tuesday next week, same time, same place. I'll see you guys at 6:06 on Tuesday. Yeah. So hit that bell, stay well, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 6:06. Boop, 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 boop.